Okay, computer issues and bloody noses. Here we go. So imagine if I had a brush that I could dip into a bucket of paint, but instead of doing paint, it would make what I'm painting transparent, so the ceiling would suddenly become the sky, and then no work would get done. So what I can do is, black removes, white restores. I'm going to use my paintbrush. Okay, so you can find a little paintbrush. If for some reason it says pencil, you got to hover over that, hold it down, and choose brush tool. Now the size of the circle on the screen is the size of my brush. I can change that by using my left and right brackets on my keyboard. So the right bracket makes it larger, left bracket makes it smaller. Okay. I want to show you another really important feature, and that is with brushes. So once I've selected this brush, once I've selected a tool, all the options for that tool are up top. I have my brush tool selected, so it says brushes. 175 is the size in pixels. But what you can do is you can click on it. Okay? If you click on that little circle, you can change the master diameter if you want to, this way, and also the edge hardness. So let me show you the difference with edge hardness. This is pretty critical. So if I have complete edge hardness, if I click and drag, make a line, it's going to be a completely hard edge brush. If I change that, if I go back up, and also look at the circle, it's completely solid from center to edge. I click on this again, go all the way down to the 0 edge hardness, and draw with the same brush. Then it looks like my nights out when I'm tagging walls. You got spray paint, right? So here you've got this, it's solid, but it transitions into a gradient. You're going to be masking, you're going to be removing parts of an area on this image. You want it to have a nice, smooth, feathered edge. So having that soft edge hardness is really, really important. So you don't want a brush like that, otherwise it's going to look like you're cutting out the eyes with scissors. Really, really hard edge. Okay. You may want to go in maybe halfway to try something closer to 50. See what that looks like. Okay. So you could have some variations here. All right. So I'm not going to be painting on color, but I'm going to be painting on transparency. I'm still cutting something out. So I will have this fairly low. And then make sure that I'm on my mask, and I'm on black, and I'm removing. Okay, so I'm revealing what's below this layer. Nice sharp image. Shouldn't have blurry eyebrows. And sometimes when I'm masking, I can't see what I removed or didn't remove, so I'll turn off the layer beneath it. It shows, here's where it's at. Okay, so I'm removing part of this image. And you can see where this checkers are nice and bright, white and gray, and then it transitions, gets a little darker. That's because I have a feathered edge, which is nice. It transitions from the really sharp eye into the blurry part. Okay. So I'm removing what's up top. Show that to you again. Removing this. Now if you're sitting there on a beautiful day, you have your windows open, and suddenly a pack of hornets come in and start attacking you, and you're like erasing by accident, and you're running around the house and it's erasing your image, what should you do besides kill the hornets? Control Z? Well, Control Z will undo one time, right? But not two. What if you're clicking and you keep messing up your image? What should we do? Just to go back in history? Layers what? Layer 0? Nope. Look at your notes. I'm removing, right? Removing? How am I removing? What do I have selected? Black. So if you want to go back and you want to restore it, you switch it to white. The way you switch it to white is you can hit X on your keyboard. So once I get the Hornets out of my house, I can switch it to white and draw back everything that I erased. Okay? If you noticed, as I was erasing, this mask right here, the little thumbnail, whatever you erase, it shows up on there. Okay? All right, so when I'm masking, I'm going to be zoomed in, 1 to 200%. Spacebar to move it around. If you're zoomed in larger than the size of your image, you hold the spacebar down. Did I already tell you that? Spacebar gives you the hand, you can move it around. And then over here it's a little bit smaller, so I'll use the left bracket to make it a little bit smaller. Get that detail in there. Now I know it's being ridiculous and erasing a whole bunch, but sometimes you'll be editing and you'll go just a little bit too far, like I went down here. Let me show it to you. I did that little spot down there. So then you just hit X. You can bring it back. Okay? Mine's a little blurrier than you need it to be. I just did that so you could actually really see it. But the goal with this is to be fairly subtle. You're sharpening just a little bit and softening just a little bit. Okay, lips should not be blurry. Okay, so just realize I'm erasing the top layer, which is revealing the layer beneath it that has not been blurred. So I can't tell if I erased enough, so I'll turn this off, and then there's a bunch that I missed. So I can go in, erase it. You can zoom out, see how it's looking. Okay, so it's a little bit sharper on the eyes. You can go in with the eyelashes. This is tedious, but also important because that really draws in details. Here I'm at 500%. The brush is way too big. And because I'm at 500%, I can do this fairly quickly, and because I may have missed a little bit, it's fine because it's at 500%. This would take you a while, so I'm not going to go through all the details, but you get the picture. Okay, so that obviously stands out more than the ones that are not sharpened. Okay, I don't think I did that eyebrow, did I? Don't choke on that thing. Does it taste delicious? Nobody borrow a pen from that guy. You know, if you really want to get into it, you could go in and bring back the hair as well. That'll show you some detail. So maybe keep all of it softened except for one portion. So maybe just this curl comes out. Okay. Now as far as viewing this picture, right now if you look again at the top left of the image, it has the image name, and I'm looking at this at 33%. Sometimes the image gets kind of wonky at those weird percentages. Yes, wonky. Very technical term. If you want to look at it at maybe 25, 50, or 100%, your edits will look smooth. Sometimes at those odd percentages, the image will look actually a little bit, the edges will not look sharp. So I'm at 33, I can go to 50, and things will smooth out a little bit. But sometimes if you're at 33 or 16%, it'll look a little strange. You have this whole screen to edit with. I sometimes will be walking around students and they're masking and they have the image like this small, okay? You cannot go like, oh yeah, I'm trying to paint the lips green, and they're like going in and they're trying to brush the lips like that, okay? If you're trying to alter or retouch lips, that's how big it should be. You should be up close and personal, okay? All right, one other tool that I want to show you is it's a tool that can be used for good and can be used for evil, and you should definitely use it for both, okay? Now, you're going to actually be on your image layer. You can't be on the mask, so I'm going to click on the image. You can see those little black brackets, barely. And this is called the clone stamp tool. It used to be called the rubber stamp tool because it looks like a rubber stamp. But they use it for cloning, now they call it the clone stamp. I'm going to select that, okay? This tool is similar to copy and pasting in Word. So if you have a paragraph, first paragraph, you actually want to move it to the fourth paragraph. You select, and you copy, and you paste. That's what you're going to be doing with this tool, okay? Let's say you cannot stand freckles. Can't stand freckles. I don't mind freckles, I'm just saying. So let's say you want to zoom in, you want to get rid of this freckle because you don't like them. You have to tell the program where you want to copy from, okay? So you're covering this up. So you need to cover up with a tone that's similar to all this surrounding area. So I'm going to select over here, okay? And the way you select, which would be the equivalent of Control-C to copy, you're going to go over here and hit Alt. It gives you a little crosshair, right? So I'm holding Alt down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click once with the keyboard, with the mouse, let go of the keyboard, and then I come over here where the freckle is, and then draw it on with my mouse. Where I copied from has a little plus sign. It's showing me this is where you're copying from, and where the round brush is, that's where I'm pasting to. So freckle's gone. And then I can move around and I can get really obsessive and find little things I want to get rid of, like that. Let's say copy just from the left here. To the right, it's gone. You know, if you have like fang marks from a recent vampire attack or things like that, you can cover those up. Over here, I have a little red mark. So on the right here, it's a little bit lighter. On the left, it's a little bit darker. I'll go right beneath it. Make sure it looks okay, right? I'm zoomed in at 400%, so most of these details, as long as it's close, it'll be just fine. Oops. If you don't like necklaces, you could say, I want to get rid of this necklace. Let's see. So she's wearing a necklace, right? Let's see if we can get rid of it fairly easily. Most of these are not just like one click and like it easily happens. It takes some time and some doing. And sometimes when you try it, it may not work properly, so you'll have to finesse it. So if I go to the left here, see the plus sign is where it's copying from, circle is where it's pasting to, and my brush is not Big enough. You can make their neck thinner. Right? So there, if you want to clean something up, change your image. If there's a blemish, if there's hair hanging out of their nose, or whatever it is you want to change and adjust, that is available. The other thing is, if you think they need some cosmetic surgery, you want to do some adjustments on their face, you could be like Alt-click. Definitely needs to have a nose. On their forehead. Right? And you're like, well, definitely think the mouth should be the center. Let's do it right here. So if you see the X, the little plus sign at the bottom where the lips are, that's where it's copying from, and then you could paste it wherever you want. If 2 eyes are good, then definitely, 3 are better. Absolutely. There you go, Mr. Potato Head, right? So this is how they copy and paste things on to people that didn't belong to them, or Photoshop things together. But mainly you'll use it for cleaning your image up. Okay? I know I've forgotten a few things. Okay, well, that is the whole retouching deal.